Hey everybody, welcome to the first ever Voiceflow product roundup. If you're joining us, please let us know in the chat where you're tuning in from, and we'll get started momentarily. Awesome, great. Well, I'm really excited about this session today. It's our first ever Voiceflow product roundup, and what we want to do in this session today is go over some product announcements. And these announcements, hopefully by the end of this session, will have you all just as excited about the future than we are. And all of this is getting centered around the concept of Voiceflow being the tool to build the best AI agents on. So what I wanted to do to kick off this session today is first introduce myself. Now, I am Zoran, the product manager for the core experience team here at Voiceflow. And before we get into the announcements themselves, I want to take a step back and do a year in review. So almost a year to the date, 12 months ago, ChatGPT was released. And it was definitely something that none of us were really expecting or really understood how it was going to impact our business. So what we found was that in the initial 24 to 48 hours after it was released, things were a little bit scary. How was this going to be utilized? What could it do? How was developers going to be able to connect into this? How are we going to leverage this technology into the Voiceflow tools kit today? And as part of that, we really got a really deep appreciation of what was Voiceflow really responsible for and what was the kind of product that we wanted to build. So as part of this, when we started looking inward, we found that Voiceflow was actually the same as it was before in a world prior to LLMs being introduced. Voiceflow wanted to provide the world's best range of agent creation tools which serve as an extension of your imagination. So what we fundamentally believe is that the best AI agents in the world are going to be erected when the users are responsible for the scaffolding. So we want to provide you the tools to erect the scaffolding that is unique to your business objective, that is unique to your use case, unique to your organization, unique to your technology stack. When we enable that kind of control, we're enabling people to deliver on what their vision is, to deliver on what they're imagining that these agents can accomplish. And so as part of that, all the things you're going to see today is really doubling down on this idea of building the best tools that enable you to build the best agents. Now, quickly after the announcement related to ChatGPT, we got very hard, very quickly at work to build our first LLM-enabled step inside of Voiceflow, which was the Response AI step. Now, it was I can't emphasize this enough. It really was a game changer. We didn't anticipate it prior to launching it, but it definitely opened up our eyes to what was going to be enabled now that people had this tool in the toolbox. And you don't have to take my word for it. I would love to show you some customer stories that talk about how this changed our users' lives.
My name's Winston, and I'm a developer, web developer, and I help manage a team that works on eSnipe.com. eSnipe places bids on eBay at the very last second. We have a pretty large user base of around 2 million customers, and we originally started developing a Voiceflow bot. And while we were developing that and kind of getting used to Voiceflow, we decided that integrating it into our help center directly to help provide a little bit of AI assistance to kind of more naturally provide customers with information about our service, and also to fill in the holes between some of the help articles that we've written, and it works really, really, really well. It's done a huge amount for our support team. I did look, and it's reduced our tickets by over 70%, which is a giant reduction for us.
Running Intercom before, and like so far with Voiceflow, I've probably saved like 30 hours, literally a month, no joke, in responding to these messages. Like with the amounts of conversations that we get, previously we were just, dude, my morning was literally just clearing the intercom inbox, and then on the way back was clearing the intercom inbox. It was literally like, it was like 10 hours a week, right? And as you can imagine, a lot of the questions that we get are like pretty straightforward. but just kind of like level 1 support, like nothing really too technical, because so many people are just curious about our service. People ask questions all the time about kilometer restrictions, like how does insurance work, like basic stuff that they can find on the FAQ, but they just don't go and look for, right? Yeah, and I have a support team and sales team of like 3 other people. Like we're so lean, it's ridiculous. So like on a level 1 support level, that's like completely, you guys have saved us like 30 hours a week.
My name is David from Comrade, where we help businesses automate their customer interaction processes. We're a very small business, just started a couple of months ago, slowly expanding over the borders of Romania, learning and experimenting the possibilities of customer interaction automation, doing all of these things with Voiceflow as the backbone of our operations. Since late August this year, we've assisted over 20 businesses to automate their customer interaction processes. From more traditional industries like medical clinics, e-commerce, to more complex cases such as business consultancy, info products, all the way to being the first ones to ever implement an AI chatbot solution within the Romanian insurance market. The best thing about tools like Voiceflow is that it enables non-developers like myself to take ideas and bring them to life. It basically enables people like me and other businesses to test out ideas faster. And for a lot of companies and people like myself, Voiceflow is a robust enough solution to help us automate most of the customer interactions we want to. Basically, Voiceflow is a tool that enables our team to bring automation's idea to reality in a simple, easy to understand, and cost-effective manner.
I work for a company called Joka, and we sell, it's a portable water heater for camping, but it's a physical product and it's relatively technical. I wanted to kind of leverage AI in some way to be able to interact with my troubleshooting content in a conversational way. And then I also started using Voiceflow, and I found it was like super easy. I'm not technical at all, so it was super intuitive, which I really, really liked. I used it to deploy a chatbot across all the websites that we have. So we just have one business, like one brand, but we have 5 different regions. So one chatbot per each region. I'm part of the Voiceflow Discord. I also look at like what other people are creating, what templates are available, or even on YouTube, people just showing their own templates. You had this really smart dude, CS dude, that created some kind of plugin for his support page, where when a customer types into the, you would see that, right? And it kind of pops up underneath. I don't even know what, you know what I mean? They can just do that, and they're support related, and they kind of understand the customer journey. There was one brand or one business that I saw called Voiceflow or Glowflow, something like that. Have you seen those guys?
Voiceflow.
That's freaking epic, man. How they kind of put a wrapper around it.
And yeah, Winston is the guy who had built the like knowledge base source thing. Yeah, he's one of our best in the community. That guy's out of control.
I'm French, living in Japan for 23 years now, in Tokyo. And I created my own company 17 years ago. I'm a leadership coach for CEOs. And I work mainly with international brands like Louis Vuitton, like Cartier, like all the fashion brand and luxury brands, as well as retailers like Starbucks, for example. So I work with the CEOs one-on-one. I want to reach out more people, and I want to leverage my knowledge and everything that I do. When I discovered AI, and recently your company, Voiceflow, that was great for me to say, okay, I can replicate myself, have my bot doing things that I usually do one-on-one with my people, and they can also use my process in a dynamic and fun way. The second thing is about schools, kids, to create also a chatbot for kids. And I started with my own son. I put some characteristics of his personality, challenges, and to encourage him, because he's in a boarding school far from me, so, and somehow maybe for the parents as well, to know how to deal with their kids. So that's the education part, business and education directly.
So yeah, these stories, the ones that we're hearing from our users, the kind of stories that are being enabled with the new technology that is available in Voiceflow is the reason we do why we do it. This is the reason why we do what we do. And as part of this and these new tools and what they're enabling and these stories that people are telling, we're building an entire community around this. So over the course of the last year, we launched a marketplace built with custom components from our community members who are extending the toolkit for much more plug-and-play experiences. We launched a Discord community with thousands of people helping each other, from designers to developers, working together to build the best agents. And we're also launching a number of resources, events, tutorials, documentation that help people understand this technology. We want to make it accessible for everybody. And the best creation tools are ultimately going to be the most accessible tools regardless of your background. And we want to make sure that everyone is on a level playing field, that we're democratizing the creation of these agents, and that everyone is empowered and enabled to do so. Now, moving on, I'm going to talk about some of the new tools that are now enabled. So the first one that I'm going to be talking about is one frequent product request that we receive from many of our users today, which is adding more opportunity for personalization. So personalization, first and foremost, is related to the kind of things that people are looking for and being able to generate dynamic responses as part of that. So last week, we actually launched a new feature that enables dynamic responses. And by dynamic responses, I mean dynamic carousels, dynamic buttons, dynamic cards, allowing people to have way more flexibility in the kind of experiences that they want to build and enabling them to have much more personalized experiences as well. And we have a demo video showing this in action.
Hi, Nico from Voiceflow here. And in this quick video, I will share with you an idea I've got. Thanks to Ty from the team, we know how this powerful way of using the custom action to generate well, a bunch of stuff, and it's pretty amazing. So what if we also ask GPT to help us to do the work for us? And this is what I'm doing here. So I'm actually making a request to an e-commerce API to get, well, a bunch of stuff. Now you can see this is a pretty large response, but what I'm focusing on is the product object. So if I can find it somewhere, and you can see where you can struggle and on like dealing with those kind of things. There we go. Okay, so this is the product object here, but I definitely don't want to deal with that. So what I'm going to do is extract this object. This is what I'm doing here, web content products, map that to a variable, and I just need to stringify that, use an AI set step with a very simple prompt, which is based on the following JSON structure example that represent a carousel with 2 cards. Generate a new JSON to render a carousel with a maximum of 3 products from the following API response. If not specified, default button label is buy. And we have the template, the base, GPT 3.5 in that case will work with. So this is the only stuff I had to do. It's basically just give GPT some stuff to play with. And API response, this is what we extract from our API step response or request. Never add any explanation to your answer. Always return only a JSON as your answer. So again, a very basic prompt. That might be some tricking, but it do the job for me here. So I'm mapping this to the carousel payload, and in the custom action, I'm just using that variable for the payload, the JSON payload. Okay, here we go. Let's run this. So again, we are fetching and requesting the API, the endpoint of that e-commerce website. We are getting a response, formatting this using GPT 3.5 to generate the carousel for us. And here we go. Sorry, this is a French website, by the way. So, but it works. We have the price, we have the title, we even have like a buy button. And if I click here, sure enough, we have access to this fluff product. And I can do this for the chair that we've got here. A bit more expensive, but we've got the ID, and obviously this is not limited to carousel. But yeah, wanted to share that with you. Have fun. Chat soon. Bye.
Yeah, so this is going to unlock way more opportunity for users, whether you're building an e-commerce agent, whether you're doing a support agent, enabling a more personalized experience based on what is getting returned from third-party integrations. And this is going to be further improved on over the coming months as we do more and more to enable these kind of use cases. The next feature that I'm going to be talking about here is also related to personalization. One of the most frequently asked for features from many of our users is to add additional context into the agent when they're using our web chat. So when you put a web chat on your web page, sometimes you have additional context that you would love to share with the agent in order for it to personalize the experience without the user having to actually do that in the conversation itself. And so here's an example of that at work. It's never been easier to create really personalized AI agents based off additional context that can be passed to the agent when they're interacting with the web chat. So I'm currently on the Fenty Beauty website, and I've gone ahead and added the Voiceflow web chat snippet. I'm also logged in to the Fenty Beauty website, which is important because that means it has some information about me already because I've logged in. It should have my name and whether I'm a VIP customer. So I want to use that information in making the experience itself when I open up this web chat unique to me. So let's go ahead and open it up. All right, so it's introducing itself, it's welcoming me back by name, and it's also giving me some actions that are available to me as a VIP member. So how is this done? Well, it's not hard-coded in the design, if that's what you're thinking. It's actually all contained within the snippet itself. So here, I'm just moving over my developer tools. Hopefully this isn't intimidating, but you can see here in the snippet that I've added to the page, there is this new custom payload which I've added that includes a name and whether the user is VIP or not. So it's obviously my name here and the VIP is set to true. Now in production, this is obviously not going to be hard-coded values. These are going to be dynamically generated by what you have available to you. But now this information is getting passed over to the design, which I'll navigate to now. And setting all this up is actually very easy. So all you need to do is have a JavaScript step at the beginning of your design, which is taking the event payload, and it is assigning the variables that you've named in that payload to variables within your project. So I have a name variable and a VIP variable in my project, and now it's getting assigned the name and the status of that to the project. So here in the initial step, I'm welcoming back the user by their first name. And then I'm also doing a condition step here, which is checking if they're a VIP customer or not. And if they are, they get the below options. And if they're not, I'm going to ask them if they should consider joining the VIP program. So very simple, very easy, but excited what this new tool can unlock for our users as you build these personalized, amazing agents for your business. Thank you. All right. And then the next feature that I want to be talking about here is related to control. Many of our users today are leveraging the Voiceflow knowledge base and LLMs to run the conversation. And so sometimes we want greater control and we want to reduce the amount of hallucinations that are inherent in some of these implementations. And these hallucinations are sometimes fine in certain circumstances, but in other times you want to actually have greater control on what the knowledge base responds. So this new FAQ API, which we are releasing today, is now available to all users where you can now add greater control to your knowledge base and your AI agents. And we'll show a demo of this now. In this demonstration today, I'm going to showcase how to have greater control of your AI agents. So in this example, I've created an e-commerce chatbot connected into the Fenty Beauty store. And in the knowledge base, I have connected a couple of the product pages from the Fenty Beauty collection into this agent so that people can ask questions about them. Now, if I go ahead and navigate to one of these pages, you can see that it has the product name, product price, and then a product description. All the things that I need for my AI agent to answer questions about this product. Now, one of the things that is really important, where I don't want any risk of hallucinations occurring, is related to product price. When someone asks about the price of any of my products, I want to give an accurate response. So let's go ahead and see how that works. I'm going to run the prototype and I'm going to select, I want to have AI product FAQs. All right. So the first question I'm going to ask is how much is, and let's go and take a look at how much is this sunscreen. So I'm just going to copy it, jump back over to Voiceflow. And it says $36, which if I navigate back over to this page, that's not accurate. It's actually $39. Let's try a different product. So let's do the eye cream. How much is the eye cream? $42. So if we go back to that page, $42 is correct. And then finally, let's go and do the face scrub. How much is the face scrub? $28. That's correct. So the initial product price was hallucinated, but then the following two were the accurate answers. So how was that implemented? Well, behind the scenes, I was using the new FAQ API to actually set the questions that need exact answers. So in here, you can see I said, if someone asks a question regarding the eye cream, if someone asks the question around the cleansing face scrub, these are the prices, these are the answers that you should be returning. Now, if any user now comes and has a similar prompt to any one of these, it doesn't obviously need to be exact, but if it has a 90% similarity score with these questions that I've inputted into my knowledge base, then the accurate answer will be returned, which again is going to give me way more control of my AI agents. And there is more things coming in store over the coming months, which is going to make this even more powerful for the Voiceflow users. Thank you. Awesome. So with that, these are the tools that, again, we're trying to enable more personalization, more control of utilizing all the technologies that are within the Voiceflow canvas today. And as part of this, there are many other products that we've launched over the last couple of weeks that I am not talking about on the session today. So if you do want to keep track of all the new things that we're building, I do recommend you take a look at the Voiceflow changelog. You subscribe to the Voiceflow newsletter, the product digest, where we cover a lot of these features as well. And obviously, we're going to continue having sessions like this, where we're going to cover more and more of those big features that are changing the way that people are building agents inside of Voiceflow today. Now, the next thing that I wanted to chat about is the roadmap. So many of the things on our roadmap are driven around some core tenets. What's really important when people are building agents on Voiceflow is that they're all designed around scale, reusability, and extensibility. Those are the core tenets that are foundational to all of the features that we're building from now and into the future. So the first thing that I want to talk about here is the new Voiceflow Agent CMS. This Agent CMS, and apologies if it's hard to see on this screen, is going to be where you're managing your agent content moving forward. This CMS is going to allow you to manage things at scale, to double down on any of the agent content that requires optimization, fine-tuning, and it's also going to enable greater reusability. What's really important and what we're seeing a lot in the community is that people are building templates, people are building flows that they want to share with other people, and it's really hard to do that today. So what we're going to be introducing early next year is a new storyboard architecture. This storyboard architecture is going to replace what you know with domains, topics, and components today, and replace it with stories, which are a combination of triggers and flows. Now, the great thing about this new structure is that all flows are reusable. So all of the designs that you're making are inherently able to be shared, experimented with, templatized that you can send to the community, and also downloaded from the community. So we want to make sure that all of the tools and the collaboration elements, not only within your organization, but with the broader Voiceflow platform user base, is at the disposal of anyone who wants to contribute and provide the best practices of building certain kind of agents. We're also redesigning the knowledge base CMS. It's really important to have observability and control over exactly how your knowledge base operates. So some additions that we're adding to this new knowledge base CMS is the ability to tag data sources that will enable you to do greater filtering when using it in the design itself. We're also going to give you visibility of all of the chunks within a specific document so you understand exactly what is getting passed to the LLM for generative AI functions. And then we're also adding the opportunity to refresh your data sources. And this is specifically relevant to any URLs or like websites that you're connecting to, making sure that there is a automated cadence for fetching the most up-to-date information so that your agent is always has always the latest context and latest content relevant to the conversations that they're having with your users. And then here as well, we also have the new CMS for the natural language understanding, the Voiceflow NLU. So here you have the screen for the new Intense CMS. And again, this is going to give you way more control, way more flexibility to fine tune your model over time. We find that a lot of you are still using a combination of LLM and NLU models in your designs. And so we want to make sure that across the entire product toolkit, we have opportunities for optimization, especially for those who don't know much about this kind of technology. So in here, you can see that with any of your NLU intents, we're showcasing a confidence score, a clarity score, and these are going to help you fine tune your models over time so that they're all working in concert together, and you're enabled to do so with a very easy to use interface. Now, finally, I want to talk about a new step that you will be seeing in Voiceflow in the coming months. This is called the function step. Now, again, apologies, I know there's it's hard to see here, but on the left-hand side, what we're enabling is for you to have greater flexibility and autonomy to define how you're connecting with third-party services or running advanced functions inside of Voiceflow without intimidating designers in when they're actually using it on the canvas. So we're going to be enabling a code editor inside of Voiceflow for developers to write custom functions. And those custom functions can, again, be just advanced functionality, advanced transformation of data, or they can also be connections into third-party tools. Now, in the middle screen here is what would a designer see when they're utilizing some of these functions. They don't see any of the code, that the code isn't relevant to them. All they need to know is what data is relevant to push into this function in order for it to work, and then what data is actually outputted on the other side, which would be relevant to the customer conversation. So a very typical example here would be creating a ticket in Zendesk. You want to pass in probably the customer name, their region, any other metadata that's relevant here. And then on the other side, you want to receive a ticket ID, which you can tell your user about. Again, you don't need to see any of the code behind the scenes when you're actually using this in your design, which makes this really powerful for designers and makes the accessibility of a lot of the steps that we're building much more improved. And then the final component here that we'll be rolling out after the initial introduction of this function step is the community element around it. So if you're not a developer, but you want to integrate with other tools like Zendesk, like Salesforce, DALL-E, the list goes on, you're now going to be able to download these functions from the community, and you can use them immediately, and you don't have to write any code. And so I know for many of you out there who are building these agents on Voiceflow, it's really important that you have the opportunity of connecting with these data sources, but you might not have the experience or the background to do so. And this is going to be really important as we want to enable more advanced agents built on the platform. And we want to enable you with activating more of the complex workflows that you might be trying to build out using the canvas. Okay. And so looking ahead, today's session is really aimed to give you some context in terms of the tools that we're building and the tools that are coming soon. Now, there are many other things that haven't been talked about during the session today, but I think what is really exciting is that the kind of stories that people are telling, the kind of agents that people are building on top of Voiceflow are going to be further enabled, further enhanced by the products that we're building out. And so we're always really encouraged by all of your feedback, whether that's in the Discord community, whether that's via your CSMs or anyone that you're talking to within the company. So please keep that feedback coming, and we'll use that to inform the direction that we're going in, because ultimately the stories that you're telling are what are informing the product that we want to build. And so with that, we'll open up to a Q&A session, but just a quick CTA for everybody. If you're interested in just keeping up to date in any of the features that I covered today, please, again, do join the Discord community. We announce a lot of stuff there. Also, you can subscribe to the Product Digest newsletter, where we'll be keeping people informed. And then we'll have other sessions like this in the future to cover more of the tools that we're exposing to our users. Okay. Thank you so much for everybody who joined the session today. Again, really excited about all the things that are in store. And yeah, as I mentioned, the FAQ API is available today. It's on our developer documentation if you want to give it a go. And please do let us know if you have any feedback after today's session as well. I appreciate it. And everyone have a good day.